applause. I appreciate it. I am very honored to have the privilege of having Mr. Tony Scott here today, a good friend of mine for quite a few years, and excited to share this major milestone in his professional career as he embarks on stepping into yet another professional success and becoming an author. And so, I think we're going to hear a round of applause. Yes, Mr. Tony Scott. So he was going to start his event with doing a bit of a reading, but I told him to pause for a moment because I do think this is a wonderful opportunity to not only hear him and hear about his journey, but then also take a moment and just really celebrate him and get to know who Tony Scott is from a different perspective, from a perspective of an author and why he chose to write this book at this time. So he let me take the mic for a little bit to actually interview him in a little fireside chat so you guys can get to know him. So he's probably a little nervous, like, what do you do up your sleeve? That's why I got him a drink ready, because this is what you can do when you have a bar, is drink while you work. So so we're excited about that. So Tony, so my first question to you is, obviously, a lot of people in this room, they've brought some of their friends to share in this moment, but if you want to take a moment and take a step back and ask yourself, who is Tony Scott? Who is it that we want to make sure we walk away knowing who this man is? How would you introduce yourself today and define who you are?
Don't cry.
I mean, that's not exactly how you wrote that question.
That's crazy, right? They give you the script and then they change it.
Friends, how many of us have? First, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you. Seriously. I'm very much a believer of the village, of the community. I see people here from all parts of my life, of my walk. Obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't immediately acknowledge my beloved wife, Carmen, my daughter, I'm gonna shout you out again, so it's talking. My daughter, Nia. She's 23, so I don't have to pay her, and it's not child labor. So, but no, obviously I have my brothers here. I have people who have it. Shout out to ZQ and all Omega Psi Phi brethren. Are you? Yeah. Anybody else affiliated with any other Greek organizations? I'm sorry, Caleb. But just thank y'all. This has been an abundantly long journey that even as I'm sitting here, it's still surreal and I'm still waiting for the wake up, so thank you for that. But to the question of who is Tony Scott, I'm not used to talking about myself in third person. It's weird as hell. I'm just me. I'm born in Cleveland, raised in East Cleveland, first generation, college graduate, and by God's grace again, obtained my master's in public administration and then my law degree. I've had a varied career. I was a Marine from 1990 to 98. So I served in Daddy's War, as I affectionately call it, which we unfortunately have not gotten out of since, but it's a whole nother diatribe. Catch me afterwards on my third drink. And I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. And where my writing journey first started was actually something in fiction, but I was pulling a lot of autobiographical components out of it. And honestly, I didn't have the mental capacity to do that at that time. I was like back then and have often commented that I'm a completely different person now than I was back then. Shout out to Alex, who's known me since 2003, who I give great credit for me being here. Also, Judge Melody Stewart in the background. Clearly, I would not be a lawyer, but for this, I'm not going to tell. I never tell why, but for her grace, I would not be here.
Don't cry. I know. No, the judge know why. I always get choked up a little when I mention that.
But no, by God's grace was able to get my education, be able to have varying levels of success and failures in my career. It took me to that point, like I said, 2014, 2015, I was working on something from had a lot of autobiographical content that I didn't have the mental health to endure. So I wanted to continue to write and growth, but I pivoted, and that's actually in 2016 when my fingers first hit the keys to start working on this book, Unlocking Potential. So it has been almost a 10-year journey to get to this point. And honestly, it was just born out of, I strongly believe in mentorship. I believe in, again, village and community, pouring into each other. I believe in supporting each other, and the whole, my consulting practice, ISI, is derived from Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, so it's iron sharpens iron, so shall a man sharpen the countenance of his friend. And that's the whole premise behind this, is I want to put some of what my experiences have been in a book, share with others, whether you're younger, older. Honestly, it's not even about being black or white, but I wrote it for a very specific audience with a very specific attempt at being my authentic East Cleveland self. So that's why it was important to me to label it as I did. If I left any money on the table, so be it. I'll pick it up on the second and third book. Coming to you soon. But yeah.
A lot of layers behind this man. Thank you for sharing that. I want to stay there a little bit because you said it's a 10-year journey getting this book started and getting to the point where you published and we're here sitting here today. Why now? So why now? What are you hoping that people take away from this book in their journey of reading it?
I think honestly the now is more about just it is my personal journey. As I said, I've had a lot of time to grow. I'm 52 at this point, like on Brad said. But the last 5 to 8 years has been a lot of growth, a lot of transformation in my life, a lot of self-discovery, and I had to have a lot of hard truths with myself while, check yourself, right? I didn't like that I felt that next to my name there was an asterisk for hypocrite. There was a lot of things that I wasn't being honest with myself and about my community and by God's grace, I've had enough opportunity to make good on most of those things so I can stand in front of you more a whole version of who I am. And in the Imposter Syndrome book coming forward, the first chapter, I'm actually talking about my life. I'm putting myself on blast before any of the other people that I've interviewed. I'm putting them on blast. Well, actually, they'll all be anonymous, so I'm blasting myself. But so again, why now? It's been that now's the time that I'm actually able to be focused. I have the support in my home, my family, my village, to take the time that this takes, the money that this takes, and to be able to move past my own humility / imposter syndrome and have the audacity to think that I have something to teach and to put it out there for people to digest. And so that's the now. And honestly, what I commonly have started writing in a lot of people's books, not everybody, because I have horrible penmanship and I get writer's cramp. But honestly, I hope people get as much out of reading this as I did out of writing it, because it isn't just me sitting down with crayons scribbling what I think. It's actually taking some time, doing some research. My editor was, she would get on me saying, well, your tone keeps switching. You start being a bit more didactic. And I had to look it up, and essentially it's more of a, what's didactic mean?
When you're having two different conversations at the same time,
Yeah.
polarized.
Yes, because I'm bipolar. Actually, is that one of my diagnoses? Y'all think I'm kidding, wait till you read it. But no, I mean, and that's what it is that putting it out there and that hopefully you can learn. I think I said it to Mikhail back there somewhere, I can't see him. It's like the real reality is just putting it out there so that hopefully you can avoid some of the mistakes that I've made, and if you've made some of the mistakes that I've made, that you can course correct and continue to be what's your personal version of success, not what society dictates, but what your personal version of success is.